Hey, what is up, gorgeous beings? How are you today? As you can see, it is nighttime again. I was out on Toronto Island today. It was absolutely beautiful, glorious. And I have had time to do a lot of thinking and a lot of feeling today and also yesterday. This video is titled Yoni Recalibration because that's what I have been doing, my friends, and I want to speak about it. I don't think it's something that's on too much, speaking about trans yonis, let alone spiritual recalibration of the trans yoni as we are going through masculinization and transition. And so I want to speak about it. And for those of you who don't know, yoni is a term that refers to the entire, female reproductive system. So like the vagina and the vulva and the vaginal canal, and the uterus and the ovaries, the fallopian tubes. There are many different parts down there. So to me, yoni is a term that speaks about that whole system in a sacred way. And that's how I feel about my yoni. It's a very sacred portal. And I stopped menstruating a while ago. I've been on testosterone for 11 months now. And when I stopped menstruating, I thought that it meant that I wasn't able to get pregnant. But a non-binary friend of mine just told me that trans people and who are on testosterone can actually still get pregnant even if they're not menstruating. So I was like, wow. It put me in this different context where instead of like grieving my cycles, I then, it was like my yoni is now in a state of dormancy rather than not able to conceive. And even though I do not have plans to conceive, Lord, hear me on that. No babies for me, thank you. However, just knowing that it can be active it sparked my interest. And last night I had the chance to do a Yoni Steam for the first time, which is an ancient technique that people with wombs have been using in indigenous cultures all across all of the continents. And it's something where people put herbs in hot boiling water and almost make a tea and then sit over top of this beautiful steeping tea, this herbal remedy, this medicine, and allow its steam to actually come up and heat the yoni and the booty. And a steam can also go right up into the vaginal canal and moisturize and cleanse and honor and send love to the whole system. So I had the opportunity to do a yoni steam last night for the first time. And it felt so beautiful and so sacred. And I realized that for me, coming home to my yoni as a trans man and as a trans masculine person is something that has many layers to it. And I think that I was starting to feel some dysphoria around my yoni since getting top surgery, which I've heard can happen. It's like, trans masculine people, our dysphoria focuses on our chests. And then once that's taken care of, then we can get bottom dysphoria in more significance than previous to top surgery. So I was like, oh, that's not going to happen to me. But it kind of did. It was starting to creep in. And, I, basically had my first kiss as a boy. It literally felt like my first kiss. It was so cute. And it got me thinking. I was like, wow, if I was to want to go into deeper sexual intimacy with somebody, what would that look like now? Like, how would I guide that interaction? And so it got me just being in touch with my yoni in a different way and thinking about what its needs are. So I don't have answers here necessarily, but I wanted to come and speak about this because it's something that's important in my heart and to my spirit and to my body and to any person's body and spirit, their relationship with their own sexuality, whether or not you're going through a transition or have been through a transition physically in your gender or not. This is something that is important. It's important for us to listen to our intuition and our sacred sexual intuition, and then our creative intuition. Like that's our creativity, that's our life force. So I did the yoni steam, and that was really beautiful, and I prayed and just allowing myself to continue remembering that my genitals do not define my gender is something that's so powerful and something that I'm able to really embody in this moment more than continue blossoming and blooming and serving me. And I realized that the best way for me to have the best relationship with my yoni possible is to have the best possible relationship with my inner divine feminine. That is a relationship that is completely free of shame, instead holds space for the truth of what the divine feminine in me is calling for and calling in. It's being in a state of receptivity, being magnetic, like a flower waiting for a bee to come and pollinate it. How can I incorporate more of that energy into my life, into my practices, into my practice of living? How can I bring that energy and just bask and bathe in it? And it's so freeing for me to be coming home to divine feminine energy after starting my transition. Because before, when people thought I was a woman, it was like I was having femininity shoved down my throat. It was like I was being told I was a woman without me getting to define that. But now that I'm like, actually, I'm a man, I'm a non-binary man, I'm multidimensional, but like, I'm a cute gay boy, this is who I am. I now have permission for myself to come back around to femininity on my own terms. What do I want my relationship with my inner divine feminine to look like now? What do I want it to feel like? How can it serve me? How can I incorporate this flow and receptive state with my go-getter attitude? And as you guys know, because I talk about it, I can be a workaholic sometimes, and that's very that penetrating energy, right? It's like go out into the world and find and take and get yours and get your life energy. That masculine work energy has been a big part of my story. And now, again, as I'm becoming a man, I'm like, okay, well, how do I incorporate more feminine energy into my life now? What does it feel like to receive? Just to receive, because I know I'm worthy. Just to magnetize that which I'm calling in without running around and trying to scramble to get it. And it's not surprising at all, but it paints this perfectly, the fact that I woke up this morning after really like doing the Yoni Steam and spending some time with my Yoni and being like, girl, I love you. How are you doing? Just welcoming her back almost. And welcoming my Yoni back into my life, into my heart, welcoming the divine feminine back in such a strong way, doing this ritual with the Yoni Steam. And then I woke up this morning with them wanting me to be their life coach, and another person wanting to give me a testimonial for these very videos. Hi, if you're on here, hi. Thank you. So I wasn't surprised, but I was like, see, like receptive mode. That's how it's done. That's how that happens. Is when I sit back and I know who the fuck I am. I'm like, yeah, babe, like it's you. So now that I have my masculine container, I feel safer to protect and care for my true divine feminine nature. And it's still something that I'm in process with and I'm learning about day in, day out, day by day, week by week. And this was something that I really wanted to share today. One last piece. When I was on the island today, on Toronto Island, I was sitting underneath all these green leaves, and beside all these green leaves, fairies everywhere, and just this soft energy and the wind rustling through the trees. And I was doing this symbol, just holding it over top of my womb space, and listening to my body, listening to the forest, and listening to how they're connected. And I felt my trans yoni recalibrating. I felt it recalibrating. And then I was on the beach right after reading the book, Connecting with the Arcturians. And it was talking about being an androgynous spirit, not just androgynous in male and female at the same time, but also of Earth and of the stars at the same time. And I've spoken about this in my video, Spiritual Hybridity, and perhaps others as well. But it just felt really affirming to be reminded again the gift of getting to be a trans starseed, which is to say, getting to be trans, getting to have different embodiments in one lifetime, and also getting to be in knowledge and understanding and understanding that I'm of the stars and also of the earth. For me, it's like, that's my sweet spot, babe. That's my happy place. And having that information reflected back to me in this book and in my own experience in such a deep, profound way is blowing my mind a little bit. It's really healing, and continuing to remember that, because I value the feminine and divine feminine so much. And I know I've spoken about it a bit on this channel before, but really realizing this week, like, that has to start within. I am valid as a man, no matter what beautiful divine feminine traits and attributes I hold, whether in my physical body or in my spiritual emotional body. And allowing myself to be a feminine man, no matter what that means or looks like, is the revolution. Like, that is the balancing of polarities on this earth. And I knew that walking into this trans manhood, but getting to really start to see it play out in this moment where I'm falling in love with my Yoni energy and my divine feminine graces again, baby. It's like relearning so much right now. And I can feel I'm relearning it for the whole masculine collective, to be proud of our femininity, to listen deeply to that feminine wisdom that lives within us, and to allow our receptivity and magnetism as spiritual beings to be felt and experienced. So that's what trans yoni recalibration looks like for me today. I literally felt my yoni recalibrating while I was in nature. This is a reminder to you to get out into nature this weekend if you can, and give yourself so much love. You really deserve it. We've been through a lot this past year and a half, and we are all recalibrating. And the divine yoni of the multiversal mother is recalibrating, and she is trans. And spiritually, I really believe that we all are. So this is what I want to share today, just my ongoing experience with my own transcendent journey and what it feels like to be reintegrating and recalibrating my divine femininity as a trans man. So y'all, with that, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I'm feeling crystal clear. I'm feeling clear as day. I hope this video helped you to get clear and transmit your gorgeous, unique light. And with that, I'm out.